We finally got the NBA draft order, so I just wanted to make my mock draft. Now, my mock draft is, and my mock drafts in general are a lot different because I don't like going by like predictions and predicting what's going to happen. I just like talking about each team and what I think they should do at each spot. So yeah, that's what this is going to be. And for the Atlanta Hawks, they got extremely lucky. They got the number one overall pick. Now, at pick number one, they need to draft Alex Sarr. Um, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, unless they trade Trae Young. And that's the only other thing that would affect this, because if they trade Trae Young, I think they should draft Rob Dillingham out of Kentucky because he's an explosive scoring guard, and I think him and DeJounte Murray in a backcourt be pretty deadly. But they're not going to trade Trae Young to take Sarr, and that's why I'm mocking Sarr to Atlanta. The Washington Wizards need to take the best player available on the board, whether it is Sarr, Dillingham, Shepard, or whomever they consider to be the best. Because when you're as bad as the Washington Wizards are, you don't really get to pick based on position. Now, I will say, I don't think drafting Rob Dillingham would be ideal here, given the fact that I don't think him and Jordan Poole would work out well together at all. And that could be very unfortunate to watch, especially if you want to win more games. So I think they got to go with the most stable point guard because they do need a guard. They're losing Tyus Jones. So I say they should draft Reed Shepard here, and that's why I have Reed Shepard going number 2 in my mock. The Houston Rockets can do a lot with the third pick. They don't really need another wing because they already have a bunch of young wings on their roster currently. They just need an explosive, energetic guard that's not named Jalen Green, and hopefully is more efficient than Jalen Green. Since I have Reed Shepard going off the board, I'm going to put Dillingham going number 3. The San Antonio Spurs do not need to overthink pick number 4 whatsoever. They need a point guard, and that's what they should go after. Rob Dillingham gets mocked here a lot, but even if he falls, I don't really like his fit. They already have Devin Vassell. They just need a true point guard. Rob Dillingham is a scoring guard. Reed Shepard, he would be good. But Nikola Topic, that's who I personally like here since he can play make. He fits the Spurs archetype for players they want. Topic is 6'6". And he has playmaking ability. Now, there's a lot of work to do, but San Antonio Spurs are great at developing players. So, given his raw skill set, I think Topic is who needs to go number 4 to the Spurs. The Detroit Pistons need to figure out how to win more basketball games next year because the lottery balls do not love them at all. The best odds for number 1 to end up at 5 the past 3 years is kind of insane. But with the 5th pick, the Pistons need to take the best available prospect. I highly advise against Matas Buzelis because I'm not sold on him as a prospect at all. But knowing the Pistons, they will probably take him. I do like Ron Holland here a lot, and I also do like Dalton Knecht, especially if they want to win more games this year. They should take Knecht. Ideally, you don't pass on a prospect with a super high ceiling when you're drafted in the top 5, and that's why I ultimately have them selecting Ron Holland. Now, I know I just said I don't like Buzelis as a prospect, but if there's any team in the top 6 that I wouldn't mind taking him, it would be the Charlotte Hornets, because I don't mind his fit on the roster at all. However, given my mock draft, I think Zachariah, I'm not even going to try. Rashard, I'm so sorry, I could not pronounce his name. I think he needs to go here to the Hornets if he's still on the board. The Portland Trailblazers are not in an ideal situation given the fact that they have 100 guards and 2 centers. But me personally, I don't have faith in DeAndre, and now that might come from my son's fandom, but I don't really think he's a long-term center solution. And Robert Williams is constantly hurt. So with the 7th pick, I would advise the Blazers to take a center. In my personal opinion, they need to take Donovan Clingan out of UConn. As I said earlier, the Spurs franchise tends to take a developmental approach with their draft picks and their future outlook of their team. And they also have an archetype that they ideally like. And because of that, I think they're going to take Cody Williams at pick number 8. simply because he has length and skill, and if that's not Cody Williams, I don't know what is. But the other options are any of the wings ahead that might be drafted earlier, or Matas Buzelis, or even trade this pick. But I like Cody Williams going to San Antonio. The Memphis Grizzlies do not want to be in the lottery again next year, and because of that, I feel like they're going to take a player that can help them on the defensive end win now, and I think Stephon Castle out of UConn is the best selection they can make, and that's simply because drafting him would allow them to move on from Marcus Smart and acquire another player that can fit alongside this team long term. And because they want to compete, hey, if you want to compete, take Stephon Castle. He's a dog. He has a winning nature, and you can play him. You can trade Marcus Smart. You get a big that can go next to Jaren Jackson Jr., and you're looking at this Grizzlies team as a true threat to come out the Western Conference like they've been the past few years. I also love Ron Holland here, but my second and maybe my more favorite pick is Dalton Knecht, simply because of how he carries himself, and that's just the Memphis Grizzlies moxie, and that's just ideally a perfect fit. But I'm taking Stephon Castle at number 9 if I'm the Grizzlies. At pick number 10, I would say Matas Buzelis is the pick the Jazz make, just given what they like in their players. Realistically, I say Buzelis or any of the forwards I put higher are good fits here. The Bulls do not need a guard whatsoever, and they must draft a big. Now, I know they'll be reaching here for any of the 3 prospects that I personally think they need to target. But if you draft a guard here, you're just wasting a draft pick. Now, you could draft a wing here, I wouldn't be mad, but there's 3 centers I look at, and I'm like, if the Bulls get any of these 3, well, 2 of these 3, they're going to be in a good situation going forward. Now, my first and most ideal prospect for them is De'Ron Holmes out of Dayton, simply just by his play style. He's very athletic, very versatile. He might run a little funny, but he blocks shots and he can space the floor. He's a perfect center to have, especially alongside Kobe White. There's also Yves Missi out of Baylor. There is a lot of work to be done offensively for him, though, but he is a dog and he is a good center solution, and he's a less of a reach, so I'd expect them to draft him if they draft any of these 2 players. And then, of course, Zach Edey. He's a good fit as they need a big. But I'm under the expectation that since Yves Missi is less of a reach, that is who I'll mock here for Chicago. But, they ain't going to draft any of those 3, so I don't even know why I said any of that. The Thunder need some more physical size. They could easily take any of the 3 players stated previously for the Bulls, but I expect them to look at a wing that can help them win now, and that player is Dalton Knecht. The Sacramento Kings need to figure out their defense, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And my favorite player for them to look at in this draft would be Terrence Shannon Jr., given how he has a high motor, he can score, and he just really fits this team. Unfortunately, it could be a reach here, so the Kings would probably lean more towards Jared McCain, if anything, but if not, they should trade the pick, because I don't see what they could really get, because they need an established veteran that can shoot the 3 and play some defense. But the best thing they could do at pick 13 is take Terrence Shannon Jr. I don't care what the Blazers do here as long as they don't draft another guard. Unfortunately, I believe they'll end up taking Jacoby Walter out of Baylor. When I look at this draft, Heat culture is Kevin McCullough Jr., and that is who the Heat will and should take here at 15. The 76ers will trade this pick, but if not, they will try and get a guy that can fit next to Embiid and Maxey, and I think that player could be Harrison Ingram. Pick 17, we don't know if it's going to be LA's or New Orleans pick, but if it's LA, I would expect Brownie to be taken here, and if it's New Orleans pick, I like Isaiah Collier. The Orlando Magic at pick 18 should just take Jared McCain, no question. The Toronto Raptors should take Zach Edey so the Toronto kid can return home. The Cavs would take Johnny Furphy. The New Orleans Pelicans would take De'Ron Holmes if he's still available. My Phoenix Suns at pick 22. Now, we're going to stop here. Obviously, we're speed running the rest of this because, well, we all don't got time to listen to me talk for that long. But, my Phoenix Suns. We need a point guard or a center. If De'Ron Holmes is on the board, please take him. But, if not, please take Tyler Kolek out of Marquette because we do need a point guard, and we're not going to get anybody with our 0 assets. So please, 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 please take Tyler Kolek if he's here. The Milwaukee Bucks, I got Devin Carter. The New York Knicks, I got Tidjane Saloon, another dude I cannot pronounce. I'm so sorry. I suck at pronunciations. New York Knicks at pick 25, a back-to-back pick, Kyle Filipowski. The Washington Wizards, Kyle Ware out of Indiana. Perfect. They need a big. He's a perfect long-term big that they can have for development. The Timberwolves, I would say Tristan da Silva. The Denver Nuggets, Tyler Smith. Utah Jazz, Kaishan George, and the Boston Celtics, Ryan Dunn. And there you have it, my official mock draft, my first mock draft of probably 2 or 3. I don't even know. This might be my only one. It depends on how much love y'all show it, but I'll definitely be doing my big board because that's what I want to do. And I'll definitely do a mock draft right before based on predictions rather than anything I have going in my head. But yeah, there's still a lot of time to really digest and make a better mock draft. But yeah, that's what I got for y'all. Y'all have a good one. Stay safe. Bye.